Canine Biscuits here with the ScreenBlast podcast. Today we are talking about beetles that are blue.
Don't you mean Beetlejuice? Am I right?
Fuck, I'd rather talk about that. In all honesty, that's a better fucking topic right there.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He's coming in hot, ladies and gentlemen. He's coming in hot. Alright, guys, this is, of course, the ScreenBlast podcast. We're talking, like you said, the Blue Beetle. We're doing today with another guest, the man, the myth, the legend, but not the man, the myth, the legend, the man with so much to say, and no place to say it.
What the fuck is that?
What is that? He's got a camera now? How much budget do we have?
Oh my god. How y'all doing, folks?
It's good to see you.
Attacking
Martin, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
How does it feel to actually be visually represented for the first time?
Kind of annoying.
What in God's green earth is happening to you?
Stop touching me.
You thirsty?
What?
You thirsty?
I will spin dash you into oblivion.
He's got a point there. All right, we're having way too much fun, guys. This, of course, is the ScreenBlast podcast. Again, on this network, we talk about quite a few things. Animation, we go on Cartoon Chat, which will usually drop on Thursdays. ScreenBlast, which is all about streaming content, drops on every other Monday. Then we have Blasting Turboport's video game topics, the Monday that ScreenBlast is not being uploaded. On top of that, of course, we've got the big one, our flagship, the ScreenBlast podcast, where we talk about movies. And today, like I just said, we're going to be talking about Blue
Oh shit,
Beetle.
What days are Cowcasts supposed to happen?
And of course, we've got the Cowcast. I'm sorry, guys, that's our casual conversation. The Cowcasts drop whenever they drop, but
okay.
preferably, that's Friday, because end of the week, we want you guys to go into something casual. And it doesn't need to be this week, no timeline.
Oh my god.
So, I don't know, you can clearly see that the Cowcast editor is under a lot of stress at the moment, so, Alright, so before we get into Blue Beetle, guys, we have to talk about the fact that DC, before we get into Blue Beetle, we got to talk about DC. Quite a lot going on in the world of DC here. Not only is it that it's in the middle of this big changing scenario, there's a lot of rumors going around that Warner Brothers wants to sell off DC, that they're obviously desperate to lose all that debt filling that's sort of still there, and it puts a lot of stress on that dilemma that James Gunn apparently is we know working on the future of the next stage of DC. It's a really weird scenario here. Blue Beetle is caught in the middle of it. As we'll detail later, Blue Beetle was a part of the DCEU, which was the Snyderverse, and now James Gunn has already confirmed that, yes, he wants to stick with the actor that is playing this role. He wants the Blue Beetle to be in his universe. So it's a very interesting dilemma. We can just talk about this broadly, Mark. What do you think about Blue Beetle in the current, not the DCEU, but just the realm and the mess that this puts Blue Beetle in?
Why are we still going through with this universe, even though they announced they are cutting it? Did they announce this before fucking Shazam 2? I know they announced
this was announced in 2019.
They announced this they were cutting off this universe around it was solidified around Black Adam. They're going to Black Adam was hey, there's a chance we might keep this universe.
No, there was the big one was back when they did Snyder Cut, because remember there were a lot of people that were asking, hey, is there a chance? And they're like, no, there's no chance we're moving forward with this universe at all. And like you said, Black Adam was the real last chance of can we stitch together something that might keep this roadmap together? And no, there's not a chance. No.
Okay, I know The Rock was off because The Rock really wanted to make the DC universe his universe. If it was successful, he probably would have controlled everything, because he was really controlling the fuck out of Black Adam.
You know what's weird about Black Adam now is, because of the box office results, Black Adam is actually pretty good in comparison to the rest of what's happened since then. The last
Star power.
The last 4 movies, but still, the last 4 movies for the DC universe were Black Adam, Shazam 2, The Flash, and this movie. And all of them are, the last three were much lower than the opening weekend for Black Adam. You know, so it's like, as bad as people attacked Black Adam's box office result, it's the best movie financially for DC. It's crazy, you know, just because of how much was assaulted on that movie. Martin, what did you think of? What do you think of Blue Beetle? Just in not the movie in terms of a review, but in this mid ground of the DCEU is in this middle ground. It's being mixed up. You've got James Gunn in there, you know, doing his thing, trying to build something, and then you got Blue Beetle here. What do you think of Blue Beetle in this universe now?
It depends. Like right now, Blue Beetle, they're trying to force it. They're trying to force it into with whatever they're going to be into the new thing. But with all the references they have towards the older, what kind of, what do you call it? DCEU. The DCEU. It's really, really confusing. It's going to confuse a lot of people into wondering where it's going to be at the end of the day. Because if you're going to be quoting past things and always and just have someone saying this is going to be a part of the new thing, that like, are you just going to just like, is this before or after changes that appeared in the other movies?
Right.
I haven't seen that, so I'm just going to say that. But when I'm
like changes post in the future.
Yeah, are these like? But then how do you explain certain quotes in the movie
these adaptations
to all of the people watching?
Right.
But like to watch, like we're comic book fans, so we're going to.
Of course, you're going to question, you're going to think, you're going to consider where this stands.
But then, then normal people who will look at the thing and like, wait, what? I don't understand. How is he here and there at the same time? Like, is this supposed to be a new start
universe? Yes.
Yeah. But so it's a weird situation there right now. I'm not sure how they're going to retcon this at all. If they're going to, unless of course in the next movie they say, oh, the Flash did something and now he actually don't remember.
There's a rumor that this story might not be canonical, but they might want to keep the actor.
Yes. So
it's a whole Daredevil situation.
Absolutely. So, discussing the fact that, like you said, it's like you're on a cliffhanger here with where this might lead, where this might go, what might happen in the long term. Let's get into the review of Blue Beetle here. Now, first things first, let's get into this movie detail. This was written and directed by a man named this was.
Did you look at the gender of this person?
I just feel like this was a dude. I can't. All right, this is written and directed by This is written by Angel Soto. I believe that this is
You can look it up real quick. We just cut it out.
Christ, my God!
Just look it up on your phone.
Wait, yeah, Jesus. All right.
It just shows a full frontal body, like nude body pic of him or her.
No, it's a 40-year-old dude.
Definitely
All right.
a dude.
All right, good.
Yep, that's a 40-year-old dick right there.
All right, this was written and directed by Angel Soto. It was written by Gareth Dunnett Alcocker, I believe. Alcocer. This is. You're gonna hear me butchering a lot of casting. It's tough, man. This is international representation, and this is good for this movie. But I'm sorry that I'm butchering these things. Now this has a budget just over $100 million. Its box office earnings so far as of today, the 23rd of August, $50 million. So again, we're talking about these low results. This is another movie that slides in there. It was released last week as of this recording, August 18th. And it was originally, like I brought up, was originally the 14th film in the Snyderverse, but it's now sort of in the mid-ground there, potentially part of a longer-term plan. It is, though, you want to talk about how the MCU is adapting quite a lot from the 21st century, whether that's Ironheart, whether that's several other characters, America Chavez, on and on and on, from the 21st century. This is the first DC film based on a character that they've made and developed that started in the 21st century. So, they probably should get on that a little more often. Obviously, I think Harley Quinn's from the 90s, right? So if you included the 90s...
She's from a fucking TV show.
Yeah, so if you include her from the 90s, then, it would have been boom, bam, boom. But 90s are part of the 20th century, so they've technically been pretty close there. Anyway.
I mean, it depends if, like, the story is good enough to adaptate or not.
Right, yeah.
Because, like, Marvel's been hit with... miss with some of them.
Yes, of course, the overall point of this movie, an alien scarab chooses college graduate Jamie Reyes to be its host, bestowing the teenager with the powers of the Blue Beetle. Now,
started when an alien device wanted.
That when I was writing this, I was like, yeah, that's clearly like Ben 10 type deal here. Now, the Beetle suit, by the way, did you know... the Beetle suit was a practical outfit that the actor wore. This was not a Marvel Cinematic Universe CGI fest. Over like the entire runtime, you still had moments where they had a practical suit there.
They still do practical suits sometimes, but it's like mostly like sometimes it's like stunt. It's like stunt double in the suit. Sometimes it's just all CG.
Absolutely.
And like which weird is like because sometimes they just have a CG suit for like shit the actual actor or stunt person can do.
Right.
Like when Spider-Man is just standing there and it's like, that's just somebody in a suit and then like they're probably a stunt double in a suit. Like, no, that's CG. And I'm like, why?
Yeah. It's definitely a dance, especially here in this movie. I did say that they have obviously a practical suit, but like I said, in the same process you do have, like you said, stunt doubles, things like that. So let's look at the trailer real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and jump back in and talk about our impressions before. And so we will be right back. Mark, if you can push that pause button for me. All right. So, just overall, Mark, I'll start off with you. What did you think before sort of seeing this movie? We just sort of ran through the trailer one more time as a reminder. What was your expectation, your hype going into Blue Beetle? Because, of course, again, we've had so many superhero movies this year. Here's another one. What did you think going into this?
There's my camera.
Well, darn it.
I know of Blue Beetle mostly from my introduction to him was the first episode. He's the first episode of Batman Brave and the Bold. Probably one of my favorite Batman series. One of them, my favorite one is still the 90s, the animated series. Like that's the top. That's like the best Batman universe period for me. But like the Batman Brave and the Bold, he's the first episode on there, and his episode's really it's a really good episode.
Right.
So when I heard they was making a movie, it's like, okay, this is an interesting choice. Like, just like how Marvel is right now, currently, they're going for like modern, obscure choices for like superhero movies. Seeing this trailer, this is like, this is stuff I've seen before. A little bit of DNA of Spider-Man: Homecoming, a little bit of DNA of like Iron Man, a little bit of DNA of a bunch of superhero origin movies. Doesn't really look that original. And the biggest thing is like, cause I know the suit is like, I found out later that it is comic book accurate. But they could have changed up some things to like not make his face look very much like Iron Man, especially like, and I'm talking like this is the effects team's fault. Like, the face on that suit looks too much like Iron Man's face. And it's just like, because when I saw this trailer, like, it doesn't matter for the movie, but like, I remember my impression when I saw the trailer, I was like, when I saw a thumbnail, I was like, is that Iron Man? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like a blue Iron Man suit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's where like the effects department really should have like kind of gave it some different features, because it like, it is comic book accurate. The comic book design looks kind of like that, but there's little minor details to like, well, like where you don't like where it doesn't look too much like Iron Man. Yeah, if you squint, it does look like Iron Man, but like with this movie version, that face looks, the suit in general, it looks a lot like a blue Iron Man.
Yeah, very tough. You know, the only distinguishing feature really was the the insect-like things at the top there.
So, yeah, it's like a combination of Iron Man and Ant-Man.
Yeah, Martin, what did you think of going into it, before seeing it, the trailers, the expectation, did you know this character, things like that?
I did know the character. I know him from comic books, and I also know him from animated series beyond just Brave and the Bold. He also appeared in Young Justice, and he's currently appearing in the comics as well. But when I look at like I said before, it had high Marvel energy when I was looking at the trailers.
Right.
So I knew I was getting into when I was going into it. For like relative to the suit, I understand. Yeah, it does look like Iron Man, but since I know the character, I know the distinct differences from Iron Man compared to him. So I wasn't too bothered by that. That wasn't really something I was like, oh well. And yeah, he's Mark is actually right. They don't tread in new ground. They don't do any of that. But that they really need to, like,
right.
Like at the point of like you're introducing the character. When you're introducing the character, you don't need to go.
Do you need to go all out?
I'm not saying you need to go. I'm not saying it would be cool if they went all out. I'm not saying they shouldn't.
But just
I'm
before
just saying,
overall, you're like,
they introduce this character because Blue Beetle is like he said, an obscure superhero among the commons.
Yes.
Like so first you want to get them to know who this is. Like this is not Iron Man.
Right.
Okay. This is who he is. This is what he can do. And
but do you think that the trailers did a good job of showing that this was not, in fact, like an Iron Man character?
I think they did it with the character himself.
Yes.
Jaime Reyes.
Yes.
Showing that he's not Iron Man. I don't know if they did it with the suit itself or like the abilities it showed, because some of them are similar to Iron Man, and it would, except if Iron Man was a teenager.
Right.
Like, because a lot of other things, like a sword wouldn't be practical. Like Iron Man wouldn't find that a practical weapon.
No.
Of use, because he would go with the most efficient way to finish that off and to stop that criminal at
100%.
So yeah, I don't think they did with the suit. I like the way the suit looks. I like that it's comic book accurate. I like the way the powers. I like all of that. But like I said, yeah, it doesn't grade any new grounds, and I don't think it actually needs to. We just introduced that character.
Yeah, going into this movie, it just felt like, all right, DC, overall, I was like, all right, DC needs something that's going to be valuable. That's what they need. Some of the best things we've seen from DC over the past 5 to 6 years were their standalone things, or things that started standalone and became rather interestingly tied in, or felt standalone. Something like the original Shazam is what I think of. The Joker, the Batman, like they all were standalone, and they did a really good job of being unique enough in a world where we've seen the cinematic universe of Marvel, grow and grow and grow. Like it was good to see these unique, special characters standalone. And with this, it's like, all right, this doesn't have many references in the trailer to, what's going on with the rest of the DC characters. It doesn't really tie in like that. It doesn't say a lot, but it doesn't also move the needle of being something that's exciting to watch. This trailer would be a trailer that went up right alongside Spider-Verse. This would be a trailer that would go right alongside Guardians. This would be a trailer that went alongside better superhero movies, and just overall better movies that have come out over the past couple months.
Well, I remember this. It took a while for them to change the trailer. We got that same trailer for like a while.
Well, they had the same issue with Shazam, if you remember, where they constantly would air that same one trailer. Because it was very repetitive, because they didn't have enough money to really go and put a lot of budget into advertising.
I didn't know that was still true for this one. Still, they didn't change the trailer until like it was gonna get a month and a half before release.
Yes. Yeah. So, you saw the same trailer, and the trailer showed that it was what felt like a generic story. I remember, by the way, looking at George Lopez, and George Lopez is funny sometimes. I thought his humor was going to be just very bland and very generic, and I was like, all right, whatever, I'm fine with that, but is it going to move the needle? Is it going to be entertaining? I don't know, but I was definitely not pulled in necessarily by this movie's marketing. And the after effect is, man, I wish that they had somehow found a better way to do it. But like Martin brought up, like you're doing a character introduction, and I guess that the way they wanted to advertise this was Spider-Verse effect. I think the thing we brought up was this felt like you said, Mark, felt like an MCU trailer, like very much so.
Which is very fitting, because this trailer you would see right next to the Marvels trailer,
yes.
which is same issue, just a very superhero. This is just a superhero movie trailer. Yep. This is just the Marvel formula, plain and simple.
Right. So it wasn't mind blowing, and I think that's what I think going in. I was like, man, DC needs something good. And so, then we went and saw it, and before we go into our deep thoughts here, I want to go ahead and talk about this big lineup. Look at this feast of a lineup here. We're going to talk about these guys. We're not going to talk about every one of them, but they are very valuable. Very valuable. I was looking on Google because I had to make sure I got this right. I mean, he is the main character. It's
George Lopez.
It's Zolo Mari God damn it.
His first name starts with a fucking X? Jesus.
He changed it. But it's Zolo Mariduena, I believe, is his full name pronounced correctly. I'm sure I got it wrong. But that's he plays the man that becomes.
They can read himself.
What do you think of this character? I think that he did he did a great job. I think his acting was very believable. When there were moments of family cringe, he was there making those faces like, man, this was cringy, uncomfortable. When he had to sell that things were painful, it was sold. He looked like he was in pain in those moments.
He was fine with his two modes, which is just like oh my god, is this happening? Whoa, is this really happening? Whoa! Or he's just like the shy protagonist. Not the shy protagonist. He's just very
the quiet, nervous.
Yeah,
I'm not up for it. Versus the I'm super. I mean,
I get
I thought he was better than that, but sure.
It's like a less his personality is very similar to I guess talking about the Marvels again, Miss Marvel for me. The MCU.
I think he's way better. In terms of the
okay, you know what? The thing is, I think Miss Marvel's character is written well. The show is not. The show itself is not. But it's the characterization is kind of similar.
Yeah, absolutely. They're both in they're in a similar situation where it's very core focused on family. This movie, and we'll get really into the story later, but. By the way, spoiler conversation as I brought up in the description, because we're going to go into the next character pretty soon, and I think he's obviously critical to a spoiler of the movie. But I think I think he does a better job with range than Miss Marvel.
I take it back. I had to think about it more because Miss Marvel is definitely more high energy. Actually, I was just thinking about Miss Marvel because of recency bias with the fucking Marvel's trailer playing everywhere.
Yeah,
I don't know what to compare it to, but he's a fine main character, but he's not I
just think he fits really well for this edge of 20s character that's in a family situation where things are all getting sort of not going to hell. Well, yeah, they're going to hell in a handbasket. Things are going left, and he's trying to get a job, and he doesn't feel really confident about himself. And he loses this job, and situations are going, and shit's a mess, and. I think that he plays that very well. What he's given might not be amazing, but what he does with it, I think he has the range to make it at least a bit more interesting.
I'd say he's fine.
Yeah,
he's great. I follow him most of the movie.
What do you think, man?
Me?
Yeah.
Since they follow him most of the movie, I enjoyed the scene he was in. It's come when someone's that good at portraying a character. Or acting in general,
yes,
it'll make the overall presentation of anything way better than it might actually be. So when it comes to terms of what's his name again?
Zolo. You can just stick with Zolo. First name basis.
Like I really enjoyed watching him through this movie. Like I really enjoyed going with him. Like I really enjoyed being following him through this story.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. I know, Mark, you might have that difference. I just felt like, because this movie is twofold, where he's acting in front of the camera, number one, but then he has to do the voice acting side. I think, much like Tom Holland, he does a really good job with the inflections, with the energy, with fitting with Blue Beetle's movements at the moment. I think that it fits well, and I think he does a really good job with that in both angles. Again, this movie is not like, we're not talking about Spider-Verse here at all, but what I'm saying is he's pretty good in a movie that's not amazing. That's all I'm saying. Like, end of the day.
Yeah, I said he's fine. Yeah, like
And I'm saying he's better than fine. I'm saying he's better than fine.
Like the thing is, like you said, like the writing of the character does not give him much to work with, but that's also the problem. The writing doesn't show me like a much better character than what he's playing. Like good writing can also bring out good acting.
Yeah,
it's just fine. He's just there. I didn't really look forward to too much of his interactions because they're just like basic. Like I love, but like we're gonna get into it. But like I enjoyed mostly other characters' interactions with each other, and with him more than like anything else. Any of his other interactions with like
his family.
Okay, with the family's different, but like with we're gonna get into that too, with the whole cast list. But like with the love interest and the villain, I did not care for those interactions.
Yes, but that was more the villain. We'll talk about them. Let's move on to...
the love interest too.
Yeah, let's move on. Damien Alcazar, I think he plays a pretty good father here. I love everything to do with that they did with this character. I know, by the way, they telegraphed the fact that he has a heart problem. Yes, it is obvious. They do it just like in the CW. It is not done with, like, absolute, like, great cinematography. Like, they don't do, like, a really good job of, like, playing it off and then moving on. They mention it, and then they bring it back like, oh, this is going to be an obvious piece later. I will say, when it is brought back later, they do that's one of the better edited scenes in the entire movie, because I think it got to me at least. It was very well executed, everything that happens there. I also think everything that he's giving the main character, Jamie, motivation. He's being a really good father to him. And again, he's very much like nervous about, like, he's very unsure, like, what is his point here? What is he doing? He's just helping his son. And I love everything that this character is for this movie, for what this movie is. As basic of a movie as this may be, I think that he's not asked to do a lot in terms of, like, acting. But what he's made to do in terms of helping that main character, helping Jamie forward, I love that last scene we see with him. It's fucking fantastic.
He does play a very solid character, and you do like feel every sentimental scene like with him. You do feel for it.
Yes.
It's really well done, especially like when it gets. When he's like near the end of the movie, near the the climax of the movie, when he's like the main emotional part, like he plays everything well.
Absolutely, yes.
I do like that scene. I don't like what was happening in the scene, like all around him, like the whole deathscape landscape thing. I felt it really, really cringe and generic, like really
generic,
really cringe, and I was just like, I really wish it was more just like. Maybe have, instead of being in that thing that most of something so much about like just sitting in their living room in the house that they were trying to protect throughout the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not going so far, like you said. That's where the boundaries of generic fall back into place.
I wish it was something like that. I think that would have been more meaningful in the whole having that conversation with his father, telling him to buck it up and suck it up and be a man and everything.
Absolutely.
Because right after that they did the whole because this is a whole scene, and right when he was in that scene they went right into the whole thing with the and I was just like, This seems so. This runs, jump off.
Son, we're in the movie Coco now,
and he goes,
"This is where I live."
God.
And it like I that scene would have hit me a lot more if the area around it were a lot less.
Like it was like they were trying to sell it. They were trying to push it harder by adding this background.
And they could have did that somewhere else. Or they could have did that in other places off the movie.
Yeah.
At this point in the movie, the emotional moment, it should have been in a little, just him, his father. They could have just had him like sitting on the front porch, like
you know what's a good
yard.
You know what,
like he did early in the movie.
That would have been awesome.
Beers. He just sat next to him.
You know what's a good example of that? When I don't like the Episode 9 Star Wars, but when Han Solo is talking to Ben, at the very they're just on the ship. It's not like there's the lights aren't glowing, shit's not going crazy. It's just a conversation that matters.
That would have made more impact if he just sitting near the chair. They sit on their front door with a beer, drinking the beer, and then he just set the beer down, got up, and walked away, and telling him.
That's a really good point.
I felt more
invested.
Yes, not that whole Deathscape thing they were going for.
Absolutely.
I love the scene. I love the scene he was in. Every scene he was in was great. Even when the other family members were playing around, messing around, he was still that one.
Yeah, he was the one that was like. You can clearly see that he
can see that Jaime
holds this to gets them back on track.
I do like that. I just
he played well being because he is, even before like his tragic death, he is the emotional core of the movie.
Yes, absolutely. I think sort of. He's at times he's more like he is the emotional. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. He's the emotional core of the movie. Yeah. Again, great role for a movie that's safe. I wanted to bring all of these actors out. I wanted to talk about them because again, these actors do a fantastic job in a movie that's just very fine, very mid.
Oh,
and I think that it's crazy.
To get a little higher.
All right, as he keeps singing, let's jump into obviously the man that is probably the one that we all recognize the most.
He fucking eats the spotlight in this.
We all had seen. What is that? The George Lopez show? Was that
Nick at Night? Yes.
At late at night, Nick at Night, whatever it was, background like on TV. We've all seen the jumping on the train, jumping around. Yeah, we all remember George Lopez, the Lopez Show. Everyone knows this.
Think about that theme song every time I got on the trampoline.
Yes, absolutely legendary. I think he did. He had a lot more depth to his character. No, I'm sorry. Not really a lot more depth, I should say, but that his acting was much stronger than portrayed in the trailers. He was much more valuable to the movie in the long term because
he's a comic relief. He eats up the spotlight in this movie.
It was just so many things that moved in the movie, and it wouldn't have moved it without him. I mean, just like. It made him so unnecessarily viable.
Yes,
he plays a much better guardian figure than he does in fucking Dora.
Like the thing that he just.
Why did you remind me of that movie, Mark? God damn it! Why did you remind me of that movie?
Because a lot of people.
Mark, I was absolutely living my life.
Did you see it?
God fucking damn it!
Did you see it,
Mark? I didn't even see the movie because I did.
Fuck, I didn't like it, but apparently people liked it. I remember when I was walking. I remember when I was walking out of the theater. That movie was shit. What was the Rotten Tomatoes score? Fucking 87.
Jesus Christ!
I don't know if it went down by now. Keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
Fuck. Thank you, really, so much for telling me about.
But apparently, I'm in the fucking minority. That movie was good, according to the internet.
God damn it! But Martin, go ahead. You were continuing. You were still talking about George Lopez.
Yeah, I was.
Get us off the door, quick. Thank you.
It was
85 on Rotten Tomatoes. Apparently, the movie's still good.
It was strange how front of me like.
Go see. You might like it.
All right, let the man speak.
Fucking no.
Right at that certain scene, it was just. Dude, please stop hitting me.
as a non-movable creature.
Harassment.
All right, but sorry, you lost. Got it.
Yeah, it was crazy how the Donald's fact that he just cracked away throughout the movie, from his conspiracy theory to his technological know-how.
Skill.
Yeah. He was just blowing things away, and I was just like. Like, you think like what? I think he would. I think it would have been an interesting like if this was made into an HBO series like it was originally going to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love an entire
Did you mention that, by the way?
I would love
backstory
of just him. Like, how does he know all this? How does he get all this? I would love that because it was just such an interesting character throughout the movie.
Absolutely. You make a very good point.
By the way, did you mention that earlier? Like, this is going to be like an HBO Max original movie, and
so,
then like.
So this is I was going to get into that a little bit, but this originally was announced. Where's this?
As a series.
This was originally announced. No, this was still going to be a film, but it was announced as an HBO Max film. That's a mid-range, cheaper budget film that was going to be like they really wanted to counter sort of the MCU experience, and this was going to be one of many that was planned during the real high times of the Zack Snyder era. And so, this was announced back in 2018 or 19, and it was going to be released in 2021 or 22. And then in 2021, they said, all right, we're going to actually put this on theatrical. They liked the vision of the director so much that they said, we want to put this theatrical. We want to see how much value we can get out of this. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it was a great move, but I like the fact that they gave this more budget. I just think at the end of the day, it's a more valuable thing that it was given more budget anyway. But yeah, like this thing has been on a road track. And I, like you said, Martin, I would love to get, again, more about...
You see that shit? Disney's coming out with Primos. Oh. That's going to be a hit. We got to counter quickly.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, but I really do think, like, this would have been not necessarily better. I don't know if it would be better as a series, but definitely way more well-defined outside of it being a basic sort of superhero introduction. To most of... The majority of the movie is a simple, superhero introduction. So yeah, George Lopez is one of those characters that you would have gotten a really cool backstory. Would have been great. Maybe you do the first episode with him, or you just have... Last of Us did this really well, where you go back and forth in the beginning.
Yeah.
At the beginning of every episode, you get interstitial pieces of seeing this development. It'd be great to go, episode by episode.
His psychological side just sort of comes out of nowhere because
it was very convenient. Yes.
Yeah. We get he's technical in the beginning. But, right in the middle of the movie, I have this, fucking doohickey.
Super Gizmo.
Super Gizmo doohickey I've been working on that can hack government shit.
Yes.
Even though I never used it before and it just magically works.
How does he know how to do this? I want to know how he know how to do that. This is something worth exploring, I think.
And if not, they could have defined it with a little bit maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute more dialogue. Literally, they didn't. It doesn't need necessarily a big backstory, but it would have been better for a big backstory. But I would have, if they just explained it, maybe with 30 seconds to a minute longer dialogue, I was in coding or I was something.
It's just strange.
I used to work for them, and I know their back.
Not to draw off to the last one, but then she works for a big time company. You think she would ask, hey, how do you know how to do this?
Yeah, we're talking about the fucking Ben 10 comparison. He just becomes Grandpa Max out of nowhere.
you question how he's doing these things, and it's okay, this will work, and you sure this work, and he went with his word, and it worked, and she's like, you think what the fuck?
And again, he's fun on screen, but there's just too many conveniences. Let's move on to Belissa Escobedo, I believe. Again, sorry for butchering your name. I'm not great with Spanish. I had to go to summer school for Spanish, and I barely passed that then. All right, I wasn't great. Let's get over it.
Cancel it.
She plays the main character, Jamie's sister. What did you think of her? I thought she was, again, you give her energy. She's more, again, this is where you get to that. It's like a typecast, not her typecast, but it's a leaning on generic because you're giving her the personality that you would kind of expect, and it kind of lines in, but it's a real character. I think by the end she's a real character by the end. In the beginning it's very much like a dynamic of Shang-Chi and his friend that works with him.
Exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, but by the end it's more, I think, well defined as a character. You kind of are with her enough time to say, okay, that's cool. The
personality type of her character is it's a fun character to have in the mix of this wacky family.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, like in the very beginning, like I said before, she fits in, I think, very, 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 very well because there's a moment in the very beginning of the movie where it's like, you know, and we'll get more into not the full plot, but just the good and the bad of the movie later. Like, but you know, it's like they're talking around the table, like, all right, we're having a good time, and she's just like, guys, we have to talk about this. Like, I know you guys want to have a really good.
Keep going. I just want to check on if I can audio. I always want to make sure I see the audio thing.
But she was she was, you know, like the family was around the table. They were glad he was back, but there was a serious thing. It's like, and they weren't bringing it up. And I think that there is a genuine purpose to have a character like that around. Like, you know, things are like, if it's a really serious thing, like, yeah, this house might not be here tomorrow. Like they're like, she was an actual character. Like, yeah, we're gonna lose the house. Like, now is the situation generic? The situation's generic, but the character, I think, is pretty fitting for a family like that. You know, like, yeah, I will let my brother know either way. I don't care what you guys are saying. I don't care. Look, here's what's going on. While you were off in college, I'm just telling you, we lost the shop. The house is in shit condition. It's about to be fucking sold. We're really in the fucking weeds, and I need a job. All right, I need, like, and she's just blunt, and I think that she fits she fits in perfectly. So, yeah, I liked her character. You know, how about you, Martin?
I liked her character more in the beginning than I liked her in the end.
Really?
I did. I felt that she was underused towards the end of the movie. It's touched the point.
Too many characters.
Yes.
Yeah. Because she had the moments where she was doing the superhero thing, but like the beginning of the movie where she was constantly with him and they were constantly back and forth with that brother and sister dynamic thing. I know it, like it's like you said, it was dynamic.
Very Shang-Chi.
Yeah, very Shang-Chi, but I still like that dynamic between them.
Yeah, because
it was really, really fun, and they had it like the whole up until the part where he got the job and did all that. That was her and him, and I really enjoyed that moment.
Right.
But then it got to the ending, and I'm not saying I'm just saying she was incredibly underused at those points. It's just like,
well, they literally have her.
I know.
You know, they're like, all right, we don't know what to do with this character. We're gonna just
give her
a concussion for a second. All right.
It's like, but yeah, I felt that she should have been
a more bigger presence.
A bigger presence. She should have been. They shouldn't have split them up. They should have been together when they went to go find the brother.
We will talk about, as we get toward the end of this list, there's a character that doesn't need to be in this movie at all that would have been great if she wasn't there. That would have let the sister fill in a lot more time. There's a character at the very end, I'm just saying, very end of this lineup that I think, you know, and Mark even hinted to, that absolutely didn't need to be in this movie at all, not one bit. That would have been absolutely better if you just sort of went and had the sister fill that airtime.
Well, another thing is like because like just to skim over the next character you have lined up is like the grandmother just randomly becomes a character at the end, and like it's not really a character, it's just kind of a running joke that doesn't really hit. It's like I used to shoot guns back in the day, and it's like what's the story of that? I'll never tell.
All right. Wait. Let me introduce the kid. Let me go and introduce the kid. So, Adriana Barraza, she's actually, I believe, a very legendary actress in Latino filmmaking, and so, or just filmmaking in general. And she plays, like you said, the grandmother. But yeah, like what I felt going in, like through the whole movie, at the very end especially, was like that moment is like this movie's a perfect DVD, Walmart, $5. You play it to your family at Thanksgiving, and all the older people, woo, yeah, look at the grandma, nice, woo, yeah, go get her, yeah, that's right, go get her.
That's the thing, is like a lot of movies just like to have like, well, I mean it's not movies, just like certain things in general.
Yeah.
It's like the character of the rock and roll grandma is just like this
badass
trope.
Or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, badass grandma is just this trope that's like it's not funny, but like whenever they put it in, they think it's funny. Big recent example is like is Granny in Space Jam 2. They suddenly make her the badass, and there's this running joke like because like they found her in the Matrix world and she is the one, and it's like it's this joke that because like hey she's, you know, grandma's eating it and stuff, but this grandma, she's a badass. She's a rock and roll granny. And like so much media when they have like grannies, they reuse that joke, and it just like it doesn't land. The only time I think it like lands is like the grandma character in Big City Greens. Like she's funny. But like, there's like, it's few times where that actually lands, and it's like this movie just does that too.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And it comes out of nowhere.
100%. You about to say something else, Martin?
They did a thing they did with George Lopez, but they did it at the end of the movie. So the just out of nowhere, you could do.
Yeah, same thing. No, the runtime is like, we have to, again, if you take out the chunks where you have the character at the very end working with if that part is not, there's a good third, I'd say 25% of the movie that's all about them working together and like learning about her backstory and her backstory with her father and all that. If that's not there, we have a little bit more time to at least flesh this out. But yeah, you need, like, you have essentially like this really badass family that doesn't know their potential until the end of the movie. And I wish, like, it would be like if, for instance, like, I hope Spider-Verse doesn't do this, but like, if Spider-Verse 3, out of the blue, the mom in Spider-Verse suddenly is like, well, I used to sling webs too back when I was a kid, and like, she's like, has fucking spider power suddenly, and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Where the fuck did this come from? You had the whole time to bring this up, and suddenly you're bringing this up now? Like, the same deal here, like, and a lot of characters have that situation, and I will say, was it funny? Was it cool?
No, I thought it was
like kind of cheesy. To me, it was funny. Like when she was shooting, she's like, yeah, like it's still a funny like applause moment, like, or laugh out loud moment. Yes, but
I was smiling, but I was cringing at the same time. I just could not with that part. Just suddenly out of nowhere, a gun, and she just mowing people down. Yes. I was just like. Okay, I was smiling, but I was like, this could have been filled with something else.
By the way, did you like that, by the way, not to cut you off, Mark, did you like that that Jamie's sister now has the power of Miss Marvel? Almost, sort of, kind of.
She
has the Nintendo Power Glove.
Does she?
It literally, by the way, is a Nintendo Power Glove, apparently.
I actually like that.
Yeah, it's very cool, but like, it's just funny how all that...
Well, we'll get into that. That's another aspect of the story, like, I have an issue with.
All right, you want
to... no, I was just saying, like, I wasn't smiling at all. I was just like...
Oh, damn.
I was just nodding my head, like, yep, that's a trope. Rock and roll granny. Yeah. Just cross it off the list.
Moving on.
I didn't hate it, but it was there. It's just like, okay, that's... Because, like, this movie is... Like, we're going to get into this movie's full of tropes, and that's just one of them.
Yeah, so we have Elpidia Carrillo, I believe is her name, and she plays the mother. And I will say, funny enough, when I looked at by the way, her age and the grandmother's age, like in real life, they're like 10 years apart, funny enough. Like, it's hilarious that like the age is like, it's not like, it's just funny, like when you actually see like acting, like, oh, okay, yeah, you cast these characters.
I wouldn't know whose grandmother was if it wasn't for the way, like,
they dress.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's just funny. Like, yeah, she still can. It still fits, but it's funny that you would do that. So yeah, she does. Like, she's there. I think she's the most sort of underused character, or just given nothing really to do. Really, you know what I mean? Like, so you have anything to say about this character?
Nope, inconsequential.
Yeah, that's... Now, we get to a more consequential character with Carapax here by Rule Trejo, I guess. Guys, again, don't hate me, alright? I'm doing my best.
Hate him!
Yeah.
Let's get him, boys!
I swear to God, with the ScreenBlast podcast, you just don't email me anything about this, alright? I'm doing my best with this review. But Carapax, I think...
He lives down the street in the back of Wendy's!
So, fuck you. Why'd you give him my address? But Carapax, I think, is an interesting character. He's not given a lot. I wish that there was more. Again, like you said, Martin, if this was a series, you start to stretch these things out. You have that backstory. I like the idea. And I know that is it generic? Yes. But I love the fact that I love everything about the very end, what they do to that character at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
I just wish that was explored, because it's when I think of him, I think of Wolverine in the X-Men movies. Very similar. He's just experimented on, he's put through this, he's put in this situation, his body is fucked up, and he's just walking around with memories of his past that he wants to go back to, and he doesn't want to be attached to that guy, to that woman. Very similar to Logan not wanting to be attached to, what's his name, in the X-Men lineup. And I think that, again, like, if this guy is potentially, like, if you really built him up at that level, Wolverine-esque. And but again, he just becomes the big baddie. He has a Pacific Rim fucking Iron Man suit on at the end. Looked fucking terrible. Like, look, it had to look cool to fight, sure, but it was fucking generic third act battle. Like, fucking Pacific Rim suit. It looked just like it. Come on, no one can say otherwise. But yeah, it was just like, alright, whatever. Again, I wish he was given more. You could tell that probably in deleted scenes there's probably more with him in the dialogue with the evil character, but yeah, man, Carapax is, like, I think the most underutilized out of anyone outside of George Lopez. Probably the most underutilized character. What do you think, Mark?
Oh, his backstory is very interesting. The thing about it is, it comes in at the end of the movie, like, too late.
Yes.
Like, it comes in at the end of the character.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what's the point of...
I'm gonna blow up.
Like, yeah, what's the point of this? Now, like, you give it to me now? Like, I would have been more invested in looking at this character if you give me that backstory, like, I don't know, like, fucking, like, his second scene or some shit. Because he, like, for me, he's just a henchman.
If it was, not ADHD, what's the other one? The one where you come from war.
PTSD.
But it was like that throughout the entire movie where he kept flashing to those points. And he couldn't remember why he got blown up until at the end he saw that it was actually her who did it. And then he walked her into the thing and exploded.
Yeah,
right.
From what we see in this movie of him, he is just a henchman that keeps getting upgraded. And my thought was, okay, he's one of the henchmen. But, like, no, he's consistently there. And I was expecting us to get more, and she was like the main villain was alluding to this technology is going to go on more people. And it probably would have been interesting if he was like, if like the main character Blue Beetle had to fight like more of these like freaking Pacific Rim freaks. Well, but, like it's just him, and like it's just like he's just a henchman. And like it was like, and by the end of the movie, it was like, no, he's a real character. Okay, cool. What of him? He blows up.
Although there was one funny part that I thought was with this gentleman.
Go ahead.
And this dude, and that was when he first showed up to Jaime and Jen. He started to run towards them like full speed.
Yes.
And then he jumped and he punched. He aimed that fist at Jen. He's gonna punch the shit out of her.
Yes.
The thought of him.
Full power.
Flying across the room, trying to punch the shit out of this woman.
Yes.
Made me laugh so hard. I was just like, I think so. He's gonna punch the shit out of her because if Ryan didn't catch his hand, remember it was off to the.
Oh, it would have been disgusting.
She would have lost her head.
Yes.
And I just think like, damn, he was really trying to kill her just then.
I mean, that's what he's there for.
I know, but it was just
the idea
of like,
what
he
if
threw that punch at her.
That would have been a really funny like DC What If episode.
Yeah. And I laughed so hard when people didn't understand why I bust out laughing. Like, you're trying to punch the shit out of her just then.
Yeah.
And it got me. It was so hard. But then it went to the generic robot suit, and I swear he looked like a Celestial from Marvel. That the face of it looked like a Celestial.
Oh yeah, from the Eternals.
Yeah.
See, I'm glad I don't. I'm glad.
And I was like, these guys.
Fuck that.
I was like, that's just a Celestial. That's just a small Celestial.
But isn't Eternals the next cartoon shit? You already confirmed that, right? Like all that CG, it's pretty much a cartoon.
Listen,
this has been. I can't even joke around about that. That's not even fucking funny.
Yeah. Like you said,
how dare you disrespect cartoon chat?
I would love the thing that like I said, did that throughout the entire movie, so that little quick at the end could have hit us harder. Because
well, that's the thing is you could have dropped when we talk about the editing of this movie. Like you could have. There's so much that's like just. All right, no, we'll talk about that in the negatives. Let's move on to the two family members here, the Cords, Victoria and Jennifer. Victoria's played by Sue. We're just going to tie these two together, and we'll talk about both of them. Susan Sarandon, I think that she plays a great evil Hillary Clinton. All right,
we got to have money.
I think she does a great job playing an evil Hillary Clinton. All right.
I'm glad she's evil.
I think evil, and she's evil, and she's just evil, and I like that. Right? Like, I don't think she's a bad character, but they just... she's just an evil character. And like I don't want a sympathetic villain out of this. I'm just saying like that's all she is, and that's fine. And that's why the movie is just fine. Then you have Jennifer Cord, who is the most unnecessary, and I mean unnecessary part of this movie. If you mean like, oh, you can have more time for the family, check. You can have more time for Carapax, check. You can have more time for the brother-sister dynamic, check. You can have more time for the father-son dynamic, check. You can have more time for learning about the setting, check. You can have more time with the mother-son dynamic, check. You could have so much more for this movie if you didn't put the stupid romance, introverted, like, fucking, and again, like, I just, God, I felt like she is so, and it's not her fault as an actress, but like the idea that you're going to attach her.
They don't give her much to work with.
And she doesn't get much to work with, and they tie her as the daughter of the dude that was Blue Beetle. And so she's fucking strung along on the fucking journey, and the family fucking hates her because, it's a big, like, the father dies, and of course she's a part of the corporation that fucking goes in and destroys the house and shit, rightfully so. Like, they're mad. And, it's like, she's just like there. It's like, what the fuck? It's not her fault, but I don't like her at all. I don't like her in this movie. I don't want her in this movie. This movie probably would have been much better because you could have found other things to do in this movie if you didn't prioritize having her in such a big part of the runtime. Mark, I'm going to throw it to you.
Yeah, like it would have been better if it was like much like the description of the Ben 10 intro. It started with an alien device did what it did. It just accidentally found him instead the connective tissue that is the
cords.
The cords like trying he falls in love with like the girl Jen, and then like she was like, hey, protect this cheeseburger box, but don't look in it, even though that's a stupid idea. That don't give people like in a box that can open up easily, and you told them not to look in it.
I totally that was such a stupid.
Also, like from this point on, he's still a strange. Like it's so the fact that she trusted him instantly. It's so stupid. I'm gonna going on to Vic. I don't really like. I want more like villains that are like
her.
No, that are irredeemable.
Yes.
That like Jack Horner from Puss in Boots.
100%.
But she does not play this role well, I don't think, at all. Because her lines are very phoned in. I don't think she's acting well. She is falling asleep while she's reading that script.
Interesting, really.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that she's just playing the...
the writing of her is bad too, but her line reading is also very bad and phoned
in. That scene where she was with Blue Beetle and he was upside down. That whole scene, she didn't seem like she was in it at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good point.
Like every time what's his name, the guy with the glasses was like he felt like he was in it.
Oh, he was that. No, that's a really good point because you really felt energy coming from him, but you didn't feel anything coming from her.
I like the actor because he plays Guillermo from What We Do in the Shadows, which is a great show.
Gotcha.
I recommend everyone see that.
I do like Vic for being the villain and just being a villain because that seems to be dying nowadays, where we just have
a solid villain,
to someone who's just evil to be evil.
Yeah. But if you chose, like you guys make a good point, if you just chose someone with that had stronger range, could really sell the evil in them a little more. Because again, I just feel like she's like the reason why I believe her as an evil villain but an evil corporate villain is the corporate villain has to be PR brilliant. Absolutely, I'm front facing. I'm business leader, and I can deliver this. But I'm also evil. But I'm not like sinister. Like I think obviously you're right. It would have fit the movie a lot better for a more sinister character. But I think the role that she is given is business leader evil, and business leader evil that's not super evil is. I think she does a fine role with it. Like I said, like evil. I'd say like even like evil politician kind of thing.
I will say that the only scene I really felt anything from was when she was talking to Carapax at the
that was so stupid. Oh, the party. I just thought
party.
I thought you were talking about the one that scene, by the way, between the two of them and Jamie at the house was fucking that's a really good point, Mark, with the range, because I did not feel that she was threatening at all. Like when they're like, getting all close to each other.
Part of
that was so stupid. That was the dumbest scene. I have never seen a dumber scene in a movie. Like, don't get close to me. Don't get close to me. Don't try. Like, what the fuck are you guys writing this for? Why is this even in the fucking movie? Come on.
Oh, dude, the line reading of that scene when Carpax was like turning against her at the end. Like, what are you doing? Kill him! Fuck! God damn it! God damn it, Carapax!
What is she turned into fucking Cartman? That was great though.
But we're also getting on characters. The scientist, like the person that played the guy with the glasses, he like I said, random characters at the end. He's suddenly a character. What?
That's a good point. He's not a part of anything.
That's the part I did, like, they suddenly said, my name isn't whatever, and then he just, that part I like.
I mean, so
there's a lot going on, because, like, there's a lot of, like, suddenly it's the character at the end of the movie. So, like, that's, because the content of the movie is very messy.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. It was like, I completely forgot he was in the beginning part as the scientist that was holding on to it. I'm 100% forgot that he was in the beginning of the movie entirely. So when they were like, your name is blah blah blah, I was like, I don't remember her saying your name wasn't that, and I don't remember that you were upset about that. Like, it was just like, okay, you're new to me, because this movie again had too much going on in the last 25%. The last third of that movie, there's so much happening, so much DLC is being thrown into this, to the character.
Well, he just shows up in the next movie. He's like, you made me this way, Blue Beetle. You threw a taco at me.
Blue Bagel. I want that movie. Fuck you.
I don't hate or like Jen, so I don't really have anything to say about her.
Again, all right, let's go.
I don't hate her, but like, she's barely there, and it's just like she's barely a character, but she's like a big part of the movie for some reason.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about positives and negatives, things like that. Let's jump in. We talked about overall the idea of the family, the roles, and the actors. Let's just talk about the movie as a whole. Quick things about, like, positives. Positives, if you just are talking about the actors, we can go over that quickly, briefly. But I do like, again, I think the best part about this movie is, again, the family dynamic. I think it's done very well. I think it's, again, the best part of the movie. It's Incredibles-esque, but again, like you said, at the very end, it all just becomes too convenient. But I love how much it's tethered there. Like, he's trying to find a job, the situation with the house, everything felt very real. Like, this movie could have gone in a different direction, but it's like, the first, the beginning, they're waiting for him, things like that. You're carrying on. Like, that was cool. It was like, all right, you're going through this journey of him being back. You get the POV, essentially, of him being back. I thought that was very nice and very well represented. He's back in the neighborhood he was in. He's back where he knows. He's back with his family. The character moment with his father, or the development moment with his father when he's like, I can't sleep, and things like that. Getting his sister a job, all that stuff. I like all of that. And again, I think it's the core part of this movie. I also, like I said before, I think Carapax could have gotten more development, but I just think that those are the real heartbeats of the film. And you can tell, by the way, the director did say that the family is the most important part of the movie, and you can tell that he definitely spent a lot of time on the family, but everything else outside of that is very much milquetoast. It's fine, but what else can you ask?
Say the line, Vin Diesel. It's all about family.
God,
yay!
I thought we could get through the entire podcast
without saying it.
Fast and the Furious reference. Dang it.
Yeah.
No, there you go.
Say the line, Vin.
Yeah, do you have anything positive, Martin? We're not, obviously not anything, but just the overall thoughts on the positive parts of this movie, beyond the cast or just the cast itself. We already talked a lot.
Well, it wasn't anything exceptional, but like, I had fun watching the movie. So it ain't Black Adam or the other one. The
Shazam 2?
The other one.
Like,
there's a lot of them. Which one are you talking
The Flash?
No, the Shazam 2. I didn't enjoy the whole where's the children? Why is it just an adult here this entire time? Like a lot of movies just him as an adult.
I see Shazam 2. There's a lot of problems I have with Shazam 2, but that's a different podcast.
We'll probably have you guys do a quick review of it later in the future, just as a quick discussion point and spill it out.
But yeah, I had fun watching it. From the family to just the hopelessly evil woman to what's his name? Rudy. I know he's part
George
of the
Lopez?
Yeah, I know he's part of the family.
George
but
Lopez is great,
I see him as a separate part because there was like an entire section where it was just him and Jaime, and I enjoyed that immensely. And he sometimes he had the jokes that didn't hit, but then he had a joke that did hit, and I was just off for that ride. So yeah, I had fun.
That's cool. Yeah, Mark, by the way, just pauses. I do want to say before, I completely forgot to mention, I do like what they do with the combat once he understands everything. I think that it's cool. It's obviously CGI heavy, but I enjoyed the combat. I thought it was pretty cool when he's in his suit and things are all going optimal. I think they do a really good job of choreography and combat. I can't complain with that.
Alright, so positives?
Oh
yeah.
How about this?
My COVID test after I left the theater. So yeah, you said positives?
Yeah, the positives.
Yeah, my COVID test after I left the theater, but other than that, I'm not sure what else to mention. No, just kidding. But I love the family aspect of this movie. Like you said, I wouldn't say it's Incredible-esque because the Incredible-esque is it's a superhero family, and like the characters between the Incredibles are very tightly written, and you get an individual arc between all of them. But this is more along the lines of
generic family. Later at the end.
I guess you can say Fast and the Furious, or a sitcom.
Fair.
This is a sitcom family, but this is a still fun family to follow. I like the idea of this movie where it's because usually with superhero, when a main character gets his powers, the main thing about the superhero is okay, let me keep this a secret from my family, and do my superhero shit.
Yeah.
But what I like the concept of this movie is about is that his family is there from the get-go of when he gets these powers, and the family is working with him to help him figure out these powers. Which I like that. I like that idea. They don't really stick with it, and I wish they did, because after a while it just becomes it becomes more stuff.
Yes. Everything starts going faster and faster. Everything just moves so quickly.
Yeah, because I wish the entire movie was very much. It was not too much high stakes, and it was very much focused between just him and just the family. We don't go to anyone else.
Yeah, that would have been, and that probably would have tightened the budget pretty well as well. You're right. That scene was fantastic. I think the director even said, we wanted this movie to sort of be as gruesome as we could make it for the rating. And also, we wanted it to be in front of the family as well. We wanted that sense right in front of the family. I think that scene was great. The family dynamic again. It's well executed in the beginning, and it just kind of fades as you go on through the movie.
Because they keep separating them.
Because they keep separating, and again, I think we've said most of the positives that we want to say. We can jump into the negatives, because again, I think that the core failure of this movie is that relationship. It is so unnecessary from the very beginning to the fucking end. It's necessary because obviously it ties to a plot point, but man, if it was that he was able to find out, because again, this scarab, this whatever thing, could literally forcibly pull him if they wanted to write that in the movie. Forcibly pull it literally forced him out into the sky when it was doing tests. So if it forcibly pulled him into the cavern where the father worked on shit, that could have been done without the fucking girlfriend or whatever, the daughter of the original Blue Beetle. At all. Like, you didn't need her to go down and discover all this shit. Like, it would have been fine. And again, I think this movie had a chance to be special if they just focused on that core relationship. They focused on that core development of family. I mean, that's one of the things that made Spider-Verse so special, is how well defined the father and the mother are to Miles Morales. And I think that, again, we talked about all the cast here. They're cool. They're not awful. In fact, they're just given limited material, and with that limited material, you're stuck in this. You're just stuck in this situation of like, where are we going with this? How far are we going to go with this? And they only go so far, and that's fine. But that's why it's a, fine movie. Again, like I said, I just wish that the girlfriend was not in this movie at all, one bit. I wish that. The idea, like, that it was just all so convenient as well. It got so convenient toward the end. It was, like, crazy.
As much as I love the villain of this movie, she was kind of stupid at times. Like,
kind of.
Like, she would do things that, like, if you're the corporate, you would send more of your men at situations. Like, there were times at the beginning where the girl actually got out of the building.
Yeah,
it's a super security central. But how does she run out of that building and then they catch up with her with guns? I'm like, that made no sense. He should have had to break in and get her or something along the lines of that. So like, this is like she's underutilizing her assets,
her skills.
Yeah,
but the tools at her disposal.
Yeah, and then there was another that didn't make sense to me at all. Like, you probably didn't notice it. Like, remember at the end of the movie?
Yes.
When he was standing over Carapax, and the Scarab stopped him from killing. He said, "Look at this. We don't kill. We are not killing."
Yeah, like, it's the relationship.
We're straight up killing people.
Oh my god! Oh my!
When they crashed that
god!
Shit, they started stomping on people. When they were shooting them,
holy shit!
He was knocking them out. He was just knocking them out with her. When he fought the dudes in the hallway, he was just knocking them out.
Shit.
But the family was just straight up killing everybody.
God.
I was like, what does that make sense? Like, why he has a no killing rule, but his family doesn't? They're just killing everybody. I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
What the fuck?
You see it now. You know it's in there. Like, I was like, that made no sense to me. And it kept going like, wait. Why are they killing people? Like,
oh my god!
And it was like, you know what I'm saying? It confused me.
I do
so hard, and I was like, okay, that makes no sense. Why is he the only person not killing his family? I was just like, I just like they took that superhero trope of no body count,
and that's fine for
and didn't
the
apply
hero,
it to the family.
And they didn't apply it to the family.
The family who you're. I was like, I was just so done with that entire thought process. I was so done with it.
Yeah. Like, what do you got, Mark?
Oh, it's this probably is gonna wrap around to like my overall thoughts on the movie. It's just like a lot of things in this movie. Just like I think it starts off fine, but a lot of things, like especially by the end, it just keeps coming out of nowhere, and it feels like a pilot to like what's supposed to be a show. Because what show pilots do is like they'll keep adding on things, and it's like it adds to like the mystery of the show. Like what's that? And the show is saying to you, to the audience, you'll find out later. Isn't this exciting? Keep watching. This keeps adding so much shit at the end. It's felt like the whole thing that there used to be another Blue Beetle. I wish they showed, like, when they revealed that cave. I wish they showed like
a couple of scenes.
Yeah, some superhero action of the old Blue Beetle, or like
the family at least knowing that the Blue Beetle was in existence in the past or something.
Yeah, there's so much like context you have to tell the audience of, like, because like I was trying to wrap my head around, like, okay, so there used to be a Blue Beetle, but he didn't use the Scarab. He had his own tech. He had his own technology, and he used to do superhero, and now he's missing, but he's not dead, He's not confirmed dead. He just went into space for some fucking reason, and he's just not around.
That felt very Ant-Man.
But he left over all this tech behind.
That felt very Ant-Man. Like I said, like it just feels very Ant-Man.
And his
not done well enough.
Yeah, and his watch that has access to all this tech is like just in the laboratory behind the glass, and not with him.
Yeah.
And his daughter knows about his shit,
but doesn't use it until.
But doesn't use it herself.
Yes.
Even though she knows there's gonna be a threat here, she could have used that technology herself to just take back the fucking Beetle by force.
She could have used it the entire time since she apparently was this rebel, which again is why it doesn't make sense that it's like in the very beginning when we're introduced to her character, it's like I don't like what you're doing to the Earth. Like I hate, by the way, how they have her like they have the evil weaponry in this stupid brochure video. It was so stupid where it's like she's like, I see what you're doing. Something industries, and it was like, this is how you're gonna do it? You could have just literally had her drop a newspaper, boom, quick, cut, show, what industries building robots for you, whatever. It's like, I see what you're doing, and that's it. You didn't need a fucking cutscene with these stupid fucking robots. It was so dumb. It was so like, who the fuck thought this was smart? It was so stupid. And by the way, Mark, before you go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. You were on a track. Go ahead.
Yeah, and
that's what you gotta do.
And there's so many like suddenly this is a character by the end I was just talking about earlier, like with the grandma character, like, hey, suddenly I'm a gun wielding assassin.
No. Suddenly she used to be a guerrilla warfare member for the Liberation, and she never brought it up before, and then she used to kick ass even though, and she didn't bring that up when he first became became the Blue Beetle.
They had the nerve.
You know.
Yeah, suddenly the scientist is a sentimental character. Suddenly, the fucking mook that has the cyber technology, suddenly he had a tragic past. A very tragic past, and it's just like, all this stuff is just thrown at you at the end, and it's just like, trying to make it emotional out of like nowhere. Yeah. I'm okay with I'm okay with tropes with movies. I'm fine, especially if they're good tropes.
Yeah.
It's like, cause like, you know, it's like, it's the same, for me it's like the same as like, would I watch a good movie I've seen before again? Like, sure, yeah.
TMNT has a lot of tropes that have been in movies before, but it's executed pretty damn well.
Yes.
Those four characters.
With this one, it's just like, it doesn't really add much, especially since I don't feel for, like I was just talking about, I don't really feel too much for the main character.
That's right.
He's not that interesting, but also like his power, his like the relationship to his AI and his moveset.
That wasn't developed at all.
It wasn't developed at all.
You make a good point.
In the beginning of like, don't kill people. Okay, I won't kill. Fine. And suddenly at the end, like she gets this development out of nowhere because it's not like a progression. It's like, no, don't kill. But why? I want to kill him because you said so earlier.
Yeah, you're making a good point. You made a good point. Like you compare. That's why everyone just something as simple as the development of Jarvis and Tony Stark in the beginning of Iron Man is so iconic and legendary, and in this movie it's so downplayed. It's so just, it's there, it's in the background, and she learns a little bit of Spanish by the end of the movie, and that's about it.
Yeah, and like
that's what this version of Jarvis does.
This is a problem I have with some superhero movies.
By the way, that whole test flight thing was so, like, I wrote down in my notes about this, like, outside of the family stuff, it's like literally the first half of this movie is like so generic. It is so painfully generic. And even the second half, it's like tough because it's like a lot of this outside of the family stuff is so generic that the hero learning shit is so generic. It is painful, man.
Yeah, because you say like the action scenes, like I think they were fine the way they were made, but like the thing, I didn't care for them because like I didn't feel any stakes with the main character because like they didn't do well of like either showing like the stakes of Blue Beetle or like the power set of them, because it's like, yeah, you can create anything with your weapons, and like all right, so he's just beating up mooks left and right, and like before the
but he can't get out of the claw, by the way.
Yeah, he can't get out of the claw, and before even like Carapax,
Carapax, yeah.
Carapax, even before he gets all of his power downloaded into like his system. The earlier fight, he was like kind of struggling a little bit too. And it's like you can't really tell because like he's not really doing much with the Blue Beetle throughout the movie, so you can't really tell when he's getting better. He just does, and like and it's like I can't like it. It was my problem with the Secret Invasion fight. With the fight between Carapax and like Blue Beetle at the end. Like it was, I call it action figures clashing because when you don't know like what is a true power set of each of the opponents, it's just like I don't feel like the stakes of this one.
No, I don't. No. This was
because like Carapax just got his full potential powers, and Blue Beetle is apparently getting better at this. So I'm not sure what's going on here.
I think they're trying to lean into the whole fact that since it's an AI, it's doing most of that shit for him. So even if you say he is learning, but it's still probably like 10% him, 90% the alien scarab doing all of that work.
The only problem is we don't get that through
the only thing that's all I'm saying that scene with the father. There was supposed to be that scene where they were binding and becoming one of mine.
By the way, you're reminding me more about the movie I just saw yesterday. The moment that they do bring it up is a brief moment where they talk about how his brain, the main character's brain, is becoming entwined with the Blue Beetle, and it's a problem that they can't separate it. And it's just like, all right. And I don't know if that was ever solved. Was that because they made it sound like such a bad thing, like it was going to cause some real serious like mental issue for him.
His father showed up and said, "Hey, it's
okay. Your responsibility."
You're okay.
Another problem, like it doesn't really have to do much with the plot of the movie, but like it still bothered me. It was like by the ending, I was like, did they figure out the problem of like how he's not gonna burn his clothes and end up naked with like the Blue Beetle?
That's a really good point. How about the fact that I know this again, it was very fairy tale ending, but it's like, alright, so the main person dies, and then the main person dies, the evil character dies, and then suddenly it's just accepted that the daughter takes over. That's not really how boardrooms and shit work, but fine, whatever. It was just funny, like, alright, now I control it, and we're going to not give, we're not going to give anything evil to whatever. Everything's going to be fine, and we're going to stop making weapons. Like, it was so funny because it was so similar to the Stark Industries ending, but it was like with no passion and no interest at all.
Yeah.
Like, because she's just not, there's nothing there. And it's like, you don't even look like the person to, not look like, but you are not the person to run this company. I'm sorry.
Also,
everything we know about you, you are not the person to run this company.
Also, the fact that she's ahead of a company, because like the ending, it's supposed to be heartwarming when the community comes in, but my whole mind, like throughout that scene, I was just thinking like the love interest is rich, she's get the fuck out of here, she's gonna fix the house, she's rich, and it's like, with my money I can fix the house, there you go.
Right.
So like the community means jack shit, just coming in to help.
Yeah, that's a very good point. They did not, they're not gonna all pull together and go to Lowe's. No, she's gonna pay for it and it'll be fine. And that's how that's going to work. By the way, I will say one of my bigger issues with this movie, and it's just an issue that I have with like superhero movies in general, like when this is an issue, is like they really the creative team really cared about making this like this setting like a whatever they're called, Panda something city, Palmyra City. I know that it's a part of the Blue Beetle history and whatever, but Palmyra City is based off of El Paso, right? And they do all this stuff, and it's like, all right. Originally, they were planning to set it in Texas, and then they set it in. Then they said that Palmyra City is based in Florida, and they did all this fucking design choice. It's like, and then it's always referenced back, like this city is, it's gentrifying, and this city is something, and it's like, all right. If you're gonna make the city this valuable thing, like again, kind of like with Wakanda in the first Black Panther movie, you're gonna tell me that this is a valuable thing, that this is important, that like everything's getting encroached upon, and that their household, even if they were to fix the house, everything's getting so expensive that it won't matter in a couple of years because shit's gonna be too priced out anyway. Like, why even bring it up? Like, you didn't even. This is something that, again, like these are things that, again, you want to make the setting an actual lived-in thing. You want to believe this thing exists. You want to sort of immerse people in, and there's none of that in this setting. It's just generic city that treats people low class people, and that's the situation, right? Like I think that, you know, it would have been better if you literally just chose an actual American city and just said, all right, fuck it, we're gonna put it boom smack dab here. It doesn't fucking matter. You know, and that's it. Like, I just think that that's another thing to the detriment of the movie, because it's another thing that's treated incompletely, and it's treated very generically.
It's basically
like I'm just saying, in comparison, not to cut you off, Martin, I'm sorry, but it's like, for instance, like, I liked the little bit we got of Metropolis and Central City in the Flash movie. Like, I love that character moment. I love that Metropolis during the fight with Superman and Zod is literally the inception point for critical character moments in all of the DCEU. I really love that. I think it's great. I think it's awesome, and I think that's valuable. It makes that setting bigger. I like what they do with Batman. Gotham City is a setting. It's a real fucking setting. You feel that city there. This is a fucking generic whatever city. It does not matter. It could have been set in Boston. It could have been set in New York. It could have been set in fucking Jaquan land. I don't fucking know what the fuck you want to call it. I don't care. That's, you know, I appreciate when settings are well thought of when you're talking about a movie with a $100 million budget. That's all I'm saying, you know. Oh, by the way, the music, not memorable at all.
And there were some record scratches that were there. Not very memorable record scratches ones, either.
But yeah, like we came from Turtles a couple weeks ago. That's memorable music to me. I still remember. It's been a couple weeks.
We fucking came from Strays yesterday. That had some memorable record scratches.
That had more memorable. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Did you, Martin? You had anything else?
No, I was just saying, like, I feel like a lot of this movie was just set up.
Yeah, clearly. It's
never gonna get paid off.
Like, no. I feel like all the comments you just had was just things they're just banking on will happen in the next couple of movies or so,
right?
Or any other tie-in movie they want to have, or series, or what they want to have with Blue Beetle, because you said they're looking into making a series, right?
No, it was originally considered to be a series, and they put the investment into making a movie. I don't think this is going anywhere after the way that it fucking went now. I mean, we'll see. It has to make more money back. But
here's the thing. The most interesting thing I keep hearing about the Blue Beetle concept is like that he's usually partnered with Booster Gold, and Booster Gold is a fun character and concept definitely. And I've seen him in like some of the animated series. Like I would like that movie, like a buddy comedy between Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. I think that should have been a movie. I hope like if they do another Blue Beetle movie and a reboot, like it's about him and Booster Gold.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. Obviously Booster Gold, that movie isn't coming for another 5 years. I think that's perfect. If you're going to keep this act.
You forgot what Booster Gold is?
I know what Booster Gold is.
No, the announcement.
5 years.
Yeah, okay. No, but I'm saying hypothetically, like I believe that it's still 5 years out, because the first movie in this new DC era is not until 25, and then they're going to keep rolling through, and Booster Gold is not until I believe 27 or 28. So you have a 5-year stretch. I think you bring this, if you are going to do that, bring back this character, bring back this actor, and have him be a little more hardened, and have him act a little more hardened, and you've got a really perfect movie there. Him right now, if you did a Booster Gold movie like a year from now, I don't think it would fit, because his character is not like, his tone is not, wouldn't be the best. But if you, like, let's say hypothetically, claim that he was more developed in 5 years, we don't see him for 5 years, and then he's working with Booster Gold, I'm all in. I think that's a lot better. Because then he also looks more mature. You know, you have him a little more very much like 2099 in Across the Spider-Verse, where it's like he's been through some shit. He's much darker now. Like, same thing with this guy, like Blue Beetle. I think you do the same thing. You make him a little darker, and you're just like, all right, cool.
If you make another Blue Beetle movie, just like make it tight and not add so much shit. Like, this movie is trying to start its own expanded universe of fucking Blue Beetle shit. Like, the way to, like, add so much stuff.
Yes.
Just keep it, like, if you're gonna have, like, a family movie, just keep it between the family. If you're gonna have, like a Booster. If you're gonna have a movie about either the old Blue Beetle or like Booster Gold, just keep it between like the old Blue Beetle and Blue Beetle, or Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. Just keep it a buddy comedy.
Right.
If you're gonna make it about Blue Beetle and love interest, just like
have that.
make it just between them.
Yes.
It's this movie tries to add so much, and it's like it doesn't feel like it's doing that in the beginning, but by the end, it's just like shit after shit. We're just gonna keep piling it on you. I just lost my train of thought. I was gonna say, but like I do hope like the next incarnation is just like it's just more tight.
Yeah, I think this actor has it again. Like I think this actor
with better writing.
I know you don't like what they gave him, this actor in this movie. I hope that they use him, and I hope this is not. It probably will be the way that we see the amount of time that these movies take to stretch along. We saw with Henry Cavill. They used him for like 5 times in 10 years for Superman. Fucking embarrassing. And obviously Iron Man was used like 17 or 18 times in that same time span, I believe, in movie roles. This character, I would again, like, I know he's not a guy that you would toss around in cameos. He's not really, but man, like, this actor, I don't know, man. Like, put him in some shit. Have a limited run series through Max. Just do something with him to where it's like, you know, you're still dealing with him, because I think you grow with this character. Again, this is they're obviously aiming for that same sort of Spider-Man vibe from the MCU, where he's young. Have him age up with the audience. People will grow with this character, and I think that's the magic there that they really could cling on to. And it would be a shame if, again, we drop this, and again, it's like, alright, next thing, like, fuck, we've been through this before, you know? You know, Mark?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I went on a tangent there, but go ahead and toss it. What do you got? Brian didn't say shit. Move on. What do you got?
Oh, it's about my day. But anyway.
I had clam salad.
But I really want to... I like the concept of his powers. I really want to... Because, like, he has, like, Generator X type powers where he can just, like, create anything with his fucking... what his fucking mind can make with the fucking suit. I really wanted to like the action more. I just didn't feel for it. Like, I wish I loved that scene where he creates what looks like the fucking Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII.
Exactly what it was.
And he shoots
what it was.
And he shoots like I forgot what that move is called. But he shoots the fucking sword laser.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
And it's like if I like had felt more stakes for the action, I would have screamed at the screen for it. By the way, I saw this movie in like 4DX when I was in Manhattan.
Beautiful. Not really worth it.
It made it more interesting, at least a little bit, because like the seats were like moving with the action. So I was like, okay, this is the part where the seats move. Yeah, like a little massage. By the way, the 4DX in like Manhattan, like it's cranked up to the fucking max. Like the seats will they'll fucking shake you out of the seats. By the end of it, I was like, damn, this shit needs seatbelts. And by the time the lights turned on, I realized there were fucking seatbelts on the fucking seat.
Oh, really?
That's
hilarious.
But it was, this movie was shaking the fuck out of those seats.
That's awesome.
But like, would I like a better movie? I think would have been like that Batman. Make a movie that's kind of like that Batman Brave and Bold episode, because like that episode where it's him and Batman just doing a mission together. And they're trying to stop an asteroid, but instead they get abducted by aliens, and the aliens are just trying to take the they kidnap Blue Beetle and Batman, and their goal is just to take the Scarab from Blue Beetle, and like just make that a movie, but instead of Batman, just make that the older Blue Beetle.
I honestly
would
holy shit!
I would rather go towards the way of Young Justice, where they explore where the Scarab came from.
Yeah, like
I want to see, like, because there from what I saw in Young Justice, there are more than one Beetle, and they're different colors, but they were all evil, and they were just trying to. Apparently, the Beetle was broken on his back, so they were trying to fix it.
Right?
No, they weren't trying to take it from him. They were just trying to fix it so that it would take over Blue Beetle and it would start attacking everyone.
Interesting.
And somebody
and that would have Booster Gold trying to get his friend back,
right?
Like something like that, because he became evil.
Yeah.
I would like to explore. Sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you. Like, so many better stories you just could have with this movie in general. But like, I mean, there's better superhero movies. I don't hate it, but like I'm not gonna watch it again. And I'd recommend just like phase like for origin movies. Just like I recommend some like phase like 1 through 3 Marvel movies you can watch instead of this one. Like my final score for this is like I'm gonna say a 5 out of 10. Yeah, I don't really care for it that much.
I brought this up before. We were talking yesterday. I do think, I know that we have a lot of issue with this, but this has a similar issue to something like Iron Man 2, like the Incredible Hulk, like there's, a couple, even Thor has issues. I think this is as good as a Phase 1 MCU movie. I really do. I don't think that this is so bad that it's like, unwatchable, or like, I don't think that it's awful. I think that this is a 6.75. I think that it's like, alright, it's not the most amazing. It's better, by the way, we talked about this too. Better than The Flash. I said, and I would lower my review. My Flash was much higher when I first watched it. It's down to like a 6. Alright. The Flash, I said, was good, but now that I've again, like, this is a DC film that did not have rush CGI. It clearly doesn't really know where it wants to go by the end of it, but it's like, all right, there's a lot of core actors that are doing a lot here that are good. You don't have to see Ezra Miller being an asshole. It's overall, I think that I would say it's a better movie. It's just the fact that there's like goofy magic in The Flash that made it fun to watch in theaters.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean by like it's kind of like a Phase 1 movie. I think the writing of this movie is very inspired by Phase 1. The reason I just wouldn't watch it over any Phase 1 movies because I don't feel the stakes of this, and I don't feel the power level of this superhero.
I would also give it a 6.5. I think that, like you said, it's Phase 1 movie. And
excuse me, I said 6.75, sir. I was super
fucking just confusing score grade. I don't like to add the fucking decimal because it just.
I really don't either, but y'all are doing it, so I'm doing it.
I'm not doing it. I just said 5 out of 10.
Like, because I
don't say y'all, say Brian.
I still had fun watching it.
Yes,
and that's basically what it come down to 100%. At the end of the day. Like, you had all the problems, it had a lot of them towards the end, but at the end of the day, I was smiling walking out of the
time. Yeah,
I didn't stay for the second post credit scene.
It's not worth it.
But I did stay for the first one.
It was a joke, and it was not a funny joke.
Okay, so I'm glad I didn't stay for the second one. I wouldn't.
Oh, the second one was like a cute little. It was a cute animation of the fucking claymation show they were watching. It's just extended. It was nice. I knew the.
It was a claymation. I was thinking of a different movie. I'm sorry. That was nice. It was cool. Not bad.
I would recommend comic book readers, and the comic book likers to watch it with friends. Normally, they can just go watch it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they'll have a lot of fun because they won't notice all of the problems we notice with it. But some of the comic books are like, watch it with friends. You'll have a lot more time. Better time. Maybe some alcohol too. So.
I recommend comic readers to keep reading comics.
Oh my god! By the way, I will say, for everyone that was out there beating the drum, watch this movie. I will say $51 million is not a small number. So you guys did go out there. It just was not enough people to make this movie like profitable again.
Dude, I will get to headlines and like. Fucking Blue Beetle dethrones Barbie. What the fuck? How much did it make? Oh, just this week.
Yeah, it was the 5th week of Barbie. It's like the 4th and 5th week of Barbie. Like, that's not an achievement.
Dude, I was like flip because like I was like half asleep when I woke up to that article. I was like, what the fuck? It made money that fast. Goddamn.
That was a really stupid headline. Like, that was a really fucking stupid headline. Because it's like, yeah, Barbie's in its 5th week. It's been destroying everything. If this movie did not beat Barbie, that would be terrible. Absolutely atrocious.
Either way, Warner Brothers gets money somewhere.
Well, it's losing money right now because I mean this is still a loss right now. So it's until this actually
keep Barbie in theaters for another fucking 2 months. Get that money back.
Yeah. Could you imagine Barbie might Barbie might end up. Could you imagine if Barbie's still on while the Marvels is out? That'd be fucking hilarious. So, by the way, talking about
re-release that shit. Yeah. Do Avengers Endgame. They release it with some bonus content after the end credits.
By the way, we're gonna play a little game here before we wrap it up totally. We were talking about other heroes. We're going to do these ScreenBlast superhero movie rankings. We've had 7 goddamn superhero movies in the span of 8 months.
Don't you need to go home? I thought we were over.
Oh,
shit.
Jesus Christ. Alright, fuck. Goddamn. Alright, never mind. Fuck. Goddamn. You're such a fucking high. Alright, fuck.
Oh, I think I stopped.
You said shit. You're like fucking mad about it. Alright, fuck.
I think you take me seriously.
You're fucking mad about it. You're like fucking upset, bitching, complaining. Like, damn, we have to do more. We have to do something that hopefully would get interest on the fucking podcast. God help us. You know, fuck. You know, but fuck it. Alright. You know, if you don't want to do it, we won't do it. But fuck. Damn. Over here like
I agree with you. What I'm trying to say, I like it. I didn't know I had this power. Yeah.
Oh man.
Are we doing this or not?
No, we can do it. I was fucking
Alright, fuck
Jesus.
Alright.
God. Look at your panties in the twist. Fucking straight it up. You got that fucking wedge.
You ever hear like joyous day? We're done with this fucking awful movie. You were like joyous day. Anyway,
I fucking scream all the time.
You do. That's my bad.
And like the one time you take me say, I think maybe you're tired.
No, I am, but I'm fighting it. I'm living the life. Yeah. All right. Anyway, the ScreenBlast. This is the ScreenBlast superhero movie rank because there have been 7 goddamn superhero movies in 8 months so far of the year. Another big year. We started off with Ant-Man, had Shazam in the middle there, Guardians of the Galaxy in May, Across the Spider-Verse after, The Flash, Mutant Mayhem, and Blue Beetle. Let's line them up. What is everyone's number 7? It should not be too much of a contest. Martin, what's your number 7?
I don't care about any of them except for...
Motherfucker, what is your number 7? Did you watch any of these?
I haven't watched The Flash.
So, but you've watched everything else?
Yeah, I watched all the rest.
Cool. All right. So then, what's your lowest score?
I guess The Flash because I hadn't seen it.
Fair. All right. I mean, all right.
Let's go with The Flash.
We're not going to do this anymore. This bit is not working, guys. This is the ScreenBlast. God damn it!
Because I think it's going to take a while. Because like you have to like.
We'll do this at the.
The thing is, these cause more tangents.
We are going to do this at the end of the year because there are still 3 more fucking movies until this goddamn fucking thing ends. This year ends. Fucking gross, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, this is on Stalling again. What the fuck, guys, ladies and gentlemen.
I am not drunk. Why are you doing that?
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the ScreenBlast podcast, and you can find, of course, the man with so much to say but nowhere to say it. In fact, he's being choked to death right now.
This is
and it's him.
K9 Biscuits. You can find me at K9BISKUTS.
And you can find me, of course, the man who's done with this shit. Fucking Christ.
There was nothing in there, was it?
No, thankfully.
Okay.
All right.
I didn't see where I was tossing. I was trying to toss them in your face.
All right. You can find me at. Let's find this fucking creature. All right, Martin. Where can we find you?
Nowhere. I still haven't anything yet.
On ScreenBlast Podcast. That's a ScreenBlastPodcast.com. You can find us on Anchor and other shit. You can explain the rest.
Jesus Christ. You can find us on Anchor and your favorite podcast service.
You can find me on ScreenBlast, I guess.
You can find, of course, you can find Martin, of course, right here.
Aren't you on some kind of Let's Play channel or some shit?
I am, but that's not really my channel.
Okay.
Alright, so you can find him on, if I can finish, on the ScreenBlast Podcast Network. Again, you can find us on YouTube as well. If you search up ScreenBlast, like we said before, if you've gone all the way through to the end of this, make sure to subscribe, make sure to comment. Again, if you have any opinions, thoughts, ideas, questions, topics that you want us to cover, go to screenblastpodcast@gmail.com. That's ScreenBlastPodcast, all together, all lowercase, at gmail.com. Appreciate everyone for being here. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.
Logging out, everybody.